Welcome to the Medical Device Made Easy podcast. Here is Munir Al-Azouzi from easymedicaldevice.com, and today I wanted to tell you more about the new rules related to eIFU, or electronic instruction for use. And for that, I have brainstormed a bit and find out some top 5 reasons for you to go for an eIFU, and top 5 also reason for you for not going to an eIFU. So yeah, let's do both sides and see mainly why you should or you should not go for an eIFU. And for that, this video is sponsored by my platform, which is called EasyIFU, and I will talk to you also about that, mainly what it is for through all the examples that I showed to you. But this is mainly a platform that is managing electronic instruction for you, so eIFU. It's also free for the first project, so you can go and you can test it and verify if you like it, and then you can contact us if you need more information about that. But let's go mainly, and you can go mainly to easyifu.com to verify that.
Meet Alex. He needs to create an electronic instruction for use. With eIFU, he uploads the document and in just a second gets a QR code. The code is printed on the packaging and shipped with the product. The user receives it, scan it, and the IFU appears fast and always up to date. Simple, fast, paperless. eIFU, the smart way to manage your IFUs.
So now let's check more about what is an eIFU. So first, an eIFU, as I've said, it's an electronic instruction for use, and this is something that is authorized by the law in Europe. So we had first a previous law. I didn't took the number, but it's written on the EU MDR. So if you go to EU MDR Annex 1, here is the place. Annex 1, Chapter 3, 23.1. Here is the place where they are talking about electronic instruction for use and the fact to use electronic instruction for use with a legislation that is mentioned there. But this legislation has been changed, and it went to 2021/2226 to 2021/2226, which mainly explains the rules for using an eIFU. And then recently, in 16th of July 2025, so it's now enforced. Mainly the new law is 2025/1234. So mainly the objective here today is to explain to you why you should use eIFU or not use eIFU, and will be really giving you some. I will be really giving you some justification mainly for all that. So usually, as I said, people are using paper version because you have to have that. So you have to have paper version with multiple languages if you are selling in different countries, and you have to have it within the products available, etc. So this is mainly that. Version number 1 of what you can do for an IFU. And version 2 then is this eIFU that you can just mention a URL on the packaging of your products, or a QR code. It's mainly also how people are doing. So URL is more for you if you are in computer, and QR code is if you have your phone, so then you can scan and then obtain the IFU directly there. So there are, as I've said, 2 schools, if I can say, for such things. So it's not like one is better than the other. I mean, I prefer the eIFU one, but mainly there are some reason why you should maybe not go for IFU, and I will just really explain that to you now. So let's go for the top 5 reasons for switching to eIFU. Because as a European manufacturer, because here we talk about Europe. I know this can be extended to other countries in the world, but let's focus with Europe, because we have really the EU MDR legislation and also the European legislation that is really explaining clearly what you have to do for an eIFU. So let's focus first on these things. So first, The reason to move to an eIFU is that with the new legislation, the 2025/1234, there was a broader allowance now to use eIFU. Before, eIFU was only for, if I remember, 4 categories of products. There was implants and accessories. There was electronic devices that have a screen that can display some things. There was what else? I forgot. No. So there was just few products, like fixed products, software also, the software that can have the thing inside. So there are just few products that were allowed to have an eIFU. And some other the other products, no, they have to have a paper IFU, and this is mainly one of the big problem that we had, is mainly that yes, even if I want to use eIFU, I have to stick on the fact that the scope of the legislation says only those 4 categories of products have to use eIFU, but not more. Now, as I said, the new legislation, the 2025/1234, so you can verify this one, it allows now to use eIFU on products that are only for professional use. And this is important, the only for professional use. So meaning that as soon as your product, if you sell it, you have to sell it to a healthcare institution, a hospital or a doctor, etc. Then you can use eIFU. And I suppose the reason is mainly that, if I can say, it should be logic, I don't know, that those category of people or health institution, they have access to electronic databases or to a computer or to electronic systems that can then retrieve the electronic instruction for use, instead of maybe other people that cannot, or we are not sure that they can do that. So mainly this is one of the reasons that can give you the option for you to do that. And yeah, this gives mainly some opportunities to manufacturers to really digitalize their instruction for use to electronic instruction for use, and then to be able to give that to health institutions. And I imagine also health institutions and professional doctors, maybe they are using this device 10 times per day or 10 times per week or 10 times per month, etc. So they have this version of the device. Each time they have a new version with, again, they open, again, they find the product, again, they find maybe the IFU, they have to scrap it because they have a 10 version of this one, and then etc. So maybe this is one of the reasons mainly why also for healthcare professionals, it's better to use eIFU, because we know that mainly as soon as they reserve the products, they scrap the IFU because, as I said, they have already used that for many times, etc. And this can be, even if you change the IFU, because this is the point also, sometimes you change the IFU and you say, oh, we put it on the box, but nobody's looking at that anymore because they think that it's exactly the same as before, so no need to look at that again. And we can make some modification of that also with the platform I talked to you, the EasyIFU. Mainly we can also make some tweaks to that in future, because then, if you are healthcare professional, if you register, maybe we can also make an alert to say, oh, there is an update to the IFU that you have looked at recently, etc. So this can be a tweak also. Second, top 2 reason, top 5 of the top 2, so second reason to do that. So mainly cost efficiency plus agile update. So mainly you have paper IFU, which means that if you have a paper IFU, it costs money to create this paper IFU. It costs money to print it, it costs money to store it, to make also the translations, to distribute it. So there are a lot of costs around an IFU. You think when you see the box it's a small paper, but imagine that they are selling 1 million units of those, so there will be 1 million of those paper and they have to store 1 million of those and print them again, which can be a problem. And also in the fact that mainly you have to make it available as quick as possible. For example, if you are changing the IFU, you have to update then your IFU, and you have to reserve it as soon as possible to use it with your product. So there can be also some delay for printing and doing all that. So having this electronic instruction for use will help you to mainly have everything in one PDF file or document that you can then update quickly, change quickly, and put quickly in your website without that. This is also the particularity when you are using this QR code that I told you, or the URL, is that the objective here is that you can automatically see the new version of the IFU. So it's not like you have to re-upload something or whatever, or change something, or change the QR code or whatever. No, you have directly with the same URL, the same code, you have directly the IFU that is visible immediately. So it's also one of the advantage of that. So the updates can be quicker, the cost can be lower. So this is, I think, a great advantage. Okay, next reason, enhanced version control and traceability. So mainly one of the requirements also for eIFU is that you have to track the versioning of your product. So here with the eIFU, you can have in the same page the actual version of the IFU plus old versions of the IFU. So mainly you can see what were the old versions and maybe the reason for change from one version to the other. So this is something that is really important, and it's anyway by law you have to have that. This must remain accessible so that authorities but also healthcare professionals can check the previous version, because maybe at the time of use there was another version of the IFU, so you have to keep open or to transparent what was that version so that you can really make some investigation. Because as I said, we have some cases maybe of patients having an issue at a certain time, and at that time the version was version 2, for example, and then when we move forward we see that now it's version 3. So what was exactly version 2, because this is the one that was used at that time, and we have to make some investigation. So it's why version control should be there and should be accessible, and we have to have a kind of audit trail to see the version 1, then version 2, what was the reason for change from version 1 to version 2, and etc, etc. This is mainly really important. Anyway, it's also written on the law that you have to do that. Okay, so there was also fourth reason for using an eIFU. There was a survey that was done in August, between August and October 2024, for healthcare professionals regarding the use or not of electronic instruction for use. And the result of the survey was mainly that it's easier to use an electronic instruction for use because it's more searchable. So imagine now you have a booklet of 20 pages and you have to search an information inside. So now the idea is that you have to open the booklet, you have to search maybe table of contents, then check page after page and find maybe the information. You'll find it anyway, but it's maybe more painful. Then having a PDF that maybe to do a Control F search and then you find the information, or maybe it's a PDF with all the structure, so you can just click on some index words and you find the information, etc. And this is mainly something that is more easy for research, and I suppose in the future also, because we are working on that also, is to use artificial intelligence to then help you find the information. Imagine now that you are just talking to an artificial intelligence and it tells you more about the IFU. Oh, what are the contraindications for these products for my patient? So here the contraindication are that, etc. Right? So you should not use it in that case or that case. So you see, you can have also a conversation with the IFU instead of you searching for information. So you can ask precisely the questions that you want to look at. So it's not ready for the moment, but we are working on that with eIFU, so be ready for looking at that. But as I said, you can still start to use eIFU for placing your electronic instruction for use, and each time a new feature will arrive, we'll let you know anyway. Next one, there is also the Eudamed alignment. So because mainly Eudamed is asking you also within all those fields to fill, they are asking you also to place your eIFU URL for your product. So when you will be registering your products in the Eudamed database, there is a field where they can place the eIFU. Here is the eIFU link where you will see that. So, and this is mainly something that will be helping you to have a direct access also to the Eudamed database that have really the information of all your products with all the environment and everything, etc. Because now we have also, for example, for manufacturers, they have to place the SSCP for class 3 and implantables inside the Eudamed. Here it will be the same. So you'll have all the digital ecosystem of your products within Eudamed. So this is one piece of it mainly, which is about all that. So don't hesitate to place that there on the Eudamed database. It's not mandatory for the moment. It will be mandatory, but if you are using EasyIFU, so use it also for placing the link directly at that place. Okay. Now we have done the 5 reasons. So first reason was it's a broader permission with also the inclusion of professionals. Second reason is cost efficiency and easy to update. Third reason is mainly that you have version control of all the different changes that are happening within your eIFU, and it's helpful for traceability. Fourth reason is mainly that professionals asked for it. Mainly they say it's better to have an eIFU than a paper version. And fifth is alignment with Eudamed, so that you can also have all the digital ecosystem inside Eudamed with all the information, and eIFU is one piece of it also, so which is great. Okay, I hope it convinced you to use eIFU. But as I've said, let's go now to the other side mainly of why you should maybe not use an eIFU and keep a paper version of your IFU. So first reason, it's a legal obligation. Maybe you are not eligible at all for eIFU. And as I said to you before, it was like only for 4 devices, and they broadened that to professional use. But if your device, even if it's used by professional, but it's also authorized to be used by lay person, so like you and me mainly, that are not professional healthcare professionals, then like on home use or anything that mainly is sold by a pharmacy to a lay person, then eIFU is not authorized. You can, I mean, I should not say not authorized. You can use eIFU. It's fine. You can have a QR code and URL, etc. But you still have to have the paper version inside the box. It can also have its advantages. Mainly, you have the paper version inside the box. But if there is any changes, as I've said to you, they can receive a notification for a change of the IFU in case for their use mainly. So here is one reason. It's legal reason. So by law, you cannot use exclusively eIFU. The other reason is also something coming from the law, because the law is asking you to mainly have a certain infrastructure for the creation of eIFU, or to maintain or store the eIFU. So for example, if your hospitals, or if the hospital or the field or clinic or whatever, they have no Wi-Fi. So let's say we are talking about an infrastructure where you are in a campaign, countryside, there is maybe no Wi-Fi, nothing. I mean, it's rare to have all this, but it may be possible where we have the infrastructure, technology is not really possible. So then it's maybe not advantageous for you to use eIFU. The only problem with this top 5 reason for not using eIFU is the fact that you don't know usually. You don't know that, oh, I'm going to a certain field or certain things that are not using Wi-Fi, whatever. I was thinking maybe if you are using this in an exterior, for example, if you say, oh, I'm using that outside, but even that you have your phone with the things, I suppose it will be working. But yeah, if you know that there is an infrastructure limitation to the use of your eIFU, then you have to, I mean, it should be something on your risk management mainly. There is be some possible dysfunction or limitation to use eIFU because of that. You have to find the why, but you are maybe to write that down. But yeah, if you know about that, you know that there is some limitation to use electronic eIFU because of connection, Wi-Fi, etc. Then you should not put an eIFU within your products, mainly because otherwise it will be not used at all. Third one, you have also to have a platform that is managing those eIFU, because as I've told you, you have to understand that there are some different versioning of the eIFU, version 1, 2, 3, what are the reasons, etc. So all this should be stored on your platform. So your platform should have some kind of back end that is managing the creation, approval, also maintenance, update of eIFU. So it should not be just a storage place where you store it and you remove it and store it and update it, etc. No, it should be as I said, there should be some history of all this. So if your company as a manufacturer, you don't have this kind of platform with secure back end with a full quality management system process for creation, review, approval, storage, deletion, etc. updates, then you cannot really use an eIFU because you have to have that. It's why when we have created eIFU, the objective was really to help with this case, mainly because we know that manufacturers will not build a full system just for eIFU. So we said, okay, let's do it ourselves, and we help them. So mainly eIFU is a place where you can register yourself, and then you can use this to place your eIFU. You can create, you have to be two users minimum. You can create, then you have another user that will be reviewing and approving, and then you can publish officially on the website. You'll receive your QR code, you'll receive your URL, and then you can place that on the packaging of your products, on your website or wherever you want. And then mainly it can be used because then after, if you want to update it, you can go back to the platform, you can update this version and go to version number 2, explain why you changed this version, and then again go to review, approval, etc. So this is why the platform mainly is existing. So it's also to have this kind of burden that is removed from you, because we have this platform that is now compliant to the legislation. Also in terms of backup, we have everything backed up there. Also in terms of mainly accessibility, the objective is also that it should be mainly a website that is accessible, that you can just get and click and have it. So mainly this is something that is really designed within the platform. So if you are not able to have this type of platform for managing your eIFU, so don't use eIFU, keep your IFU papers. Fourth is the regulatory accountability. Mainly, as I said, just what I told before, but more, you are accountable to follow the legislation of the 2025/1234 legislation, which is talking about the rules for having eIFU. So if you are not able to follow those legislation, as I said, to have those platforms, etc., then it's not really something that you should do yourself, and maybe you should not use eIFU at all, or you should use the platform, as I told you, the eIFU. One thing, for example, that is there, and we solved that because we tried to find a way to do that. It says the platform should be available 24/7, mainly. It's always available. Which means that imagine now that one of our servers goes down. What will happen then? Then we have a problem. Regulatory point of view, we have a problem. So what we'll do is that we created a mirror server that is then taking the lead if the first is down. And to save in case of also the second mirror server is down, we made a third server that is also taking this. So you see, we have like a structure that we have built with also some cybersecurity checks to mainly secure this point of the legislation that says it should be 24/7 available. So when you will scan, usually if one server is down, they will go switch directly to the second server. Why this also? Mainly because imagine you are in an emergency situation. You have now to do something and you see that there is a eIFU, you scan it and you try to find the information to maybe, I don't know, I don't think, but to save the life of the person, for example. Then imagine now that you go and there is an error for 404 or there is not accessible or whatever. You can see maybe the damage that can happen. So it's why the legislation says mainly you should put in place systems that are making your site available 24/7, and this is mainly the thing that we try to do. So as said, all what I'm saying that we offer this platform eIFU, but you can build your own platform. It's not like I'm saying you should not do whatever you can for your company. But if you have, for example, a lot of IFUs to manage, etc., maybe building your platform can be a good thing. But in case you are mainly in terms of time and of resources limited, maybe using a platform that is already offering this service can be helpful also for you. The other reason for not using paper IFU is mainly that maybe, I don't know, your clients are not really comfortable using eIFU. Maybe your clients are prefer to have paper version, they prefer to touch. It's like the fight between digital books or the books that you have on your tablets, or paper books that you can really touch. you have some preference sometimes, so mainly this is some of the things that can happen with your client. So you should listen to your client. The client says, oh no, I prefer to have IFU, so then paper IFU, then I mean, it's better to use that to then create a paper IFU. But if your client says no, we don't care, I mean, IFU or not IFU, so or eIFU, so at the end it doesn't change anything for us. So maybe you then have to choose if, for example, it can reduce the cost and maybe this money you can bring it to some other investments within your company, or it can also help in terms of logistic of documentation, etc., etc. So you make your own assumptions. But here, yeah, there is also something that to take into account, which is not about legislation, just about my clients are more comfortable using IFU paper IFUs instead of electronic instruction for use for that. Okay, so I hope this helps you to choose between paper IFU and eIFU. So as I said, let's summarize again the top 5 reasons for not having a paper IFU. So first is the legal reason, as we said, that there is no you are not on the scope of the legislation for using that. That maybe your users have a digital infrastructure limitation, that they cannot really use your eIFU because they don't have access to some Wi-Fi connection, whatever. But really not really obvious, this one. Then that your platform is not maybe ready for managing all the documentation for an eIFU, like create a document, approve, review, and store the different versions, etc. for it. Also that you have maybe some problems to maintain some regulatory accountability. As I've said, the 24/7 availability, the version archive, the link between also the eIFU and the UDI and the Eudamed database, etc. So there are a lot of things that have to be respected by that. So if it's a bit too much for you, maybe the paper IFU is better then. And the last one, as I've said, the stakeholders that are mainly more comfortable using IFU. Okay, so here is a summary. As I said, I hope this helps you to take a decision. As a reminder again, this eIFU can be created within our platform called EasyIFU. So it's not created, you are coming with your eIFU, and then you are storing that and making that available within the platform. We are working on more features to create your IFU directly on the platform, to, as I said, use AI for that, etc. So we are working on this kind of thing, but for the moment, the minimum requirements are within the easyifu.com platform, where you can place your eIFU and you can really put everything. And as I said, it's free for the first project, so no risk at all. You just start your account, you use it for the first one of your projects, and it's for life. And so you can I mean, the free version will be for life. I'm not sure we'll keep the free version forever, but for the moment it's forever for the ones that are registered before we are closing maybe this plan. So don't hesitate to go to easyifu.com. Don't hesitate to create your profile there. Then invite people from your team, because as I said, you have to be 2 minimum. One that is creating the eIFU, and second that will be reviewing and approving. As I said, we have really a quality management system, features behind that to really manage your documentation, to also be compliant to an audit. When you are audited, you have to show that things were working like that. But yeah, mainly this is something that you can do directly by yourself. And we placed also a tutorial with a good document that explains everything step by step. There is another feature on the easyifu.com platform, which is the labeling. You can also create a label. So mainly you will answer a lot of questions, and then it will tell you here are all the symbols that should be on your label, etc. But this is an extra feature. The principal feature is the eIFU, and we give the extra feature because on this label you can also make appear directly your QR code and your URL for that. So if you want, you can also use the labeling feature for that. Okay. So I hope you liked this video with eIFU, electronic instruction for use, and don't hesitate if you have some comments about the top 5 reasons to have an eIFU, or the top 5 reasons for not having an eIFU. If you have some comments, if you have some maybe another reason for having it or not having it, we can also place that on the website. So I try to create also a blog post about this, so that you can see mainly those reasons. Okay, so it was really a pleasure for me. Thank you very much, and I wish you a nice day.